Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. What a finish to the NFL deadline yesterday. My goodness. These are the kind of mornings I look forward to. I just do. I love it. I love it. Jam-packed show today. Can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. Wednesday, November 2nd. Thank you to everybody joining us over at woodwardsports.com. It's appreciated. To everybody in the Woodward Sports chat. Oh, man. You know, honestly, honest to God, I was really considering showing up here and smoking my lungs out. I swear to you. I was considering coming here today and having a smoke fest. Maybe drink a little bit. Throw on some shades. Who knows? Really, really considered it. Great news coming out of Allen Park yesterday. And I'm not sure if any of you missed it. Eric Ebron was traded from the Detroit Lions to the Minnesota Vikings. And Eric Ebron hauled in a second-round pick. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Eric Ebron traded from the Detroit Lions to the Minnesota Vikings. And you brought in a second-round pick. Just so you guys are all on the same page with me this morning. I love the trade. I think it's a great deal. The fact that you were able to pull a second-rounder alone is impressive enough. With a guy that is under contract for another year after the season. For a guy whose production through his first 3 years was quite the same, if not the exact same, as Eric Ebron all those years ago in Detroit. Christian McCaffrey went for a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth, I believe, or a pair of those. You saw Roquan Smith. You saw a lot of players go for second-round picks. Impact players, game changers, guys that, you know, right at the prime of their career looking to help a team take that next step. And TJ Hockenson, to his credit, is a great talent, and his talent was never fulfilled here in Detroit. And that's the reality. In Detroit, he was Eric Ebron. Maybe in Minnesota, he will be TJ Hockenson, a guy that doesn't go 3 years without having a 100-yard game, who has fewer 100-yard games since the start of his career than Austin Hooper, Kyle Pitts, who has only been in the league for 2 years, just to name a few, David Njoku. But it blows my mind at how many people disliked the trade. Not because of the value, but because it was in the division. Bro, let's just take a step back here. What did the Niners give up for Trey Lance? 3 first-round picks. What did the Miami Dolphins do with those 3 first-round picks? They turned it into Bradley Chubb. They turned it into Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Not bad if you ask me. If Chicago's willing to give me 3 first-round picks, 4 first-round picks, and I got to trade back 6, 7, 8, 9 spots, oh, bro, hey, all ears here. You got a second-round pick and a third-round pick for a tight end who was selected number 8 overall and has never lived up to the hype. How is anybody upset this morning? How? And how is anybody calling any attention to what Brad Holmes is doing? 2 picks in the first round, 2 picks in the second round, 2 picks in the third round. Did the Lions throw in the white towel yesterday? You guys can use whatever phrase you want. You can define it however you want. The reality is, it's not about throwing in the white towel. What happened yesterday was there was an opportunity. They jumped on it. Would I have liked to have seen maybe DeAndre Swift get moved? We talked about this yesterday. I said yes, but I'm probably not getting any value out of him. I would be lucky to maybe get a 6th, maybe a 7th. No one's trading anything for him. So that's the reality this morning. I thought it was a great move. Jeff, what'd you think?
No, I thought it was a good move. I think initially the frustration was kind of what you already hinted at, that it was in the division. But the more I think about it, I don't even know if Minnesota is going to be able to extend him. I want to check out Minnesota, their cap space for next year. And I think the bigger picture to take away is we kind of saw this coming, right? I mean, TJ and his agent, there's not a lot of contact between them and the Detroit Lions. There wasn't really an extension on the way. You're not paying a tight end, especially how bad this defense is. A lot of work to do. And I think TJ, the kind of thing that you could take away from this is for his impact. Because nationally, what frustrates you the most is nationally, everybody's like, they traded TJ? Like, it's this big shock. But for people locally that watch these Lions games, like me or Adam or you guys, you understand that the impact wasn't as advertised. For example, TJ could have a monster game. You play teams close. He would not show up, or they wouldn't utilize him. They'd still play teams close. So again, if we're talking impact, I don't think TJ's a guy you're going to pay top-tier tight end money to. And the fact that you got what you got was the most impressive. And shout out to Sam, by the way, Flannel Sam, because I love this tweet he put out. He said, first 47 games as a Detroit Lion. TJ Hockenson, 186 receptions, 2,068 yards, 15 touchdowns. Brandon Pettigrew, 207 receptions, 2,068 yards, 12 touchdowns. And then he said Hockenson, in quotations, really good tight end. Pettigrew, in quotations, shouldn't have used a first-round pick on a tight end. So, again, if we're talking comparison, and by the way, I got a lot of respect for TJ. I still do believe at points, like, for example, I was at the game Sunday. I think he was underutilized. And I think at Minnesota, they're going to utilize him well. I think he's going to play really well. But that doesn't take away from the fact that they got a good return for him. I'm fine with what they got.
Minnesota or what?
What?
What are Minnesota right now?
They're contenders.
6-1, I believe.
Yeah, they are. They're going to win the NFC North.
So they're going to win the NFC North. They're going all in for the next 2 years.
And you face Minnesota one more time. This is my theory. We'll see what happens. I don't think TJ's there for long term. So, again,
even if he is, when did this football town become so soft?
What do you mean? About fans being frustrated with the trade?
When did all of you get so soft on us in a flip of a switch? When? I'm confused now. Help me understand a little bit. Your psyche, what's going on in your head? Please, I'm all ears this morning.
Go ahead.
No,
go on. I was going to say, you know what frustrates you the most is people saying how good of a blocker he was. That's probably the most false narrative.
That's my favorite thing.
No, it's the most ridiculous narrative.
Off the top of your head, do you know where he ranks in PFF this year in terms of blocking tight ends?
90.
41st.
Okay, 41st.
He had a 48.1 rating this year. Last year, 45.1.
That's probably
elite blocker.
That's what I was watching somewhere. I think it was actually, shout out to Pat McAfee, because they were kind of guilty of this. They're like, he's a Kittle type, Kittle-esque physicality blocking at the line of scrimmage.
Kittle,
I'm like,
he's nuts.
what are you guys watching that we aren't watching? Because listen, Hockenson, he's a receiving threat. I still think in Minnesota they're going to use him, but his blocking isn't as advertised.
Who cares about Minnesota? When did we become so soft? When did we become this soft?
Regarding what?
If you have a problem with the talent or lack thereof, or an abundance of talent that a division team may have on you, I suggest you get better as a football team, which you can do in the draft, and I suggest you hire a coach who can actually win football games. But that doesn't matter right now, so we're going to move on. Stop being so soft about it. Even if he returns and he catches 2 touchdowns on you, who gives a rip?
Yeah, he will.
Who gives a rip? You've basically told your fan base as of yesterday, you know what? Man, we really thought we were going to win some games this year, but damn it.
We're
1-6. F.
I hope they lose every game.
I think it's a good move. And I'm saying great because there's nobody as of yesterday or prior to that could have told me, hey, Adam, Lions are going to deal Hawk, but they're going to get a second and a third for him. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give up a second-round pick for Hockenson.
Especially when Roquan just went for, what, second and a fourth? Something like that, yeah.
So you're the value you got was elite value. And it is the second time you've done business now with the Minnesota Vikings where you got elite value for what you were trying to accomplish.
Right.
To get Minnesota to pay for Hockenson's contract, to save that $10 to $15 million, huge for this organization. Huge. So, again, you guys can get all mad. He's in the division, Adham. How about this? How about instead of worrying about everybody else in your division, you worry about getting a better football team out there, a better football coach, a better product, a winning product. Because I'll tell you what, before the season, a lot of you were laughing at me for saying Minnesota were going to win the division and that Kevin O'Connell was going to come in and turn things completely around to what Mike Zimmer was doing.
Remember, people are skeptical about Kevin O'Connell.
Oh.
And I love it.
Wait, a rookie head coach walking in and finding success?
That was my favorite discussion to have is like, no, guys, he's a good coach. And what I love too about this trade is the compensation, the draft pick, the conditional fourth-round pick that Detroit sent to Minnesota. It was 2024. It could turn to a fifth-round pick if the Vikings win a playoff game. That's the conditional part of it. So if the Vikings win a playoff game, you're really giving away a fourth and a fifth rather than 2 4s. So
no problem.
Hey, that is what it is. And I assume they'd win a playoff game. We'll see what Kirk Cousins does. But I like the trade.
For me, it's beyond that. He can have all the success in the world with Minnesota. Congratulations.
Yeah, no,
that is a reflection of this organization.
Right.
I don't want to hear, oh, well, our players keep leaving and they just somehow get better. You know how much I made fun of Jelani Tavai? Well, you guys all remember this last year. He is a contributing linebacker on the New England Patriots right now and plays pretty well. Does coaching have anything to do with that, maybe? Not that I think he's a great talent, but you want to look at TJ Hockenson. If he produces more, great. Good for him. Good for him. All the success for his career. Detroit, all you should focus on is retooling, spending money in the offseason, and putting out a better football product. And, oh, do me a favor, get rid of this loser head coach. But I think we all agree he won't be gone this year. He'll be around next year. And when his record at the end of next year is 10-40-1, maybe we'll have a conversation about getting rid of him. But again, your organization just smacked you in the face and told you, hey, continue to be patient. And not only are you going to continue to be patient, we're going to send, one of our better offensive weapons away. We're going to get great draft compensation, but we're basically admitting that we suck this year. It didn't go according to plan, and we're calling it in. Well done. You broke 7 games into the year. Wow. Impressive. Let's take a break. When we get back, the college football playoff rankings were released for the first time yesterday, and Michigan were out of the top 5. Agree, disagree, all that and more coming up. 8:30. We'll go through the trade deadline, state of the NFC North at 8:45. 9 o'clock, we got to talk about this football team and why you need to be patient and why I need to be patient. Can't wait for that conversation. Michigan State suspend 4 players. That'll be in the second hour. We got to get to that. Are Michigan State handling it the correct way? Will the Lions regret trading TJ Hockenson? A lot of good stuff coming up. Phone lines are open, 313-552-6322. Make sure you're commenting over at woodwardsports.com. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
Well, guys, Swiss Insurance Group and their employees are heavily involved in their community. It is very rewarding, but also comes with great responsibility. If you sit on a local youth sports board, homeowners association, directors and officers insurance is a must. Make sure the kids, parents, and volunteers are protected. Call Swiss Insurance today.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag Woodward Front Row. We'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man!
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got one toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
And we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, 8:16 in the morning, a Wednesday morning after the NFL trade deadline. The Detroit Lions trade Eric Ebron to the Minnesota Vikings. Great deal.
Yeah,
Great deal
ton of picks in the top 60, top 70, so gives them a lot of flexibility.
I'm a big fan of it.
If you want to trade up,
I'm a big fan of it. But let's get to the college football playoff rankings. They were released last night, coming in at 1, Tennessee. Or excuse me.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Tennessee at 1.
Yep.
Ohio State at 2. Georgia at 3. Clemson at 4.
After that win over Syracuse.
Michigan at 5. Bama at 6. TCU at 7. Look. Michigan, and all you Michigan fans, hear me out, okay? Let's play a little game. Let's do this little exercise here where we agree on where your team is at. Michigan, your team, in my opinion, is one of the 4 best teams in the country. I don't care what the committee says. I think you're one of the 4 best teams in the country. I think if you were to line up today against Clemson, you would dominate them. You probably wouldn't punt more than once or twice at most. If you were to line up against TCU, I think you'd do the same.
Oh.
If I do.
Even though they struggle in the red zone?
Doesn't matter.
They wouldn't punt?
I think the struggling in the red zone thing is, 1, overblown, and 2...
Okay.
I look at the sample size. Yes, the Michigan State game wasn't their best red zone efficiency performance.
But if they would have, they probably would have won by 40. They just
style points. I get it. I get it. But I think Michigan is one of the 4 best teams in the country. And Michigan fans, you tell me what you think of this. Destiny's in your hands. That's it. There's nothing to worry about this ranking. And I'm not trying to undermine it. It's a great talking point every week. I think it's interesting to see where the committee is at. Clearly, they value the 5-0 record that Clemson has versus teams over 500 compared to Michigan's.
Right.
And that's all good and dandy. I'm sorry, there is an eye test involved, and so I always get frustrated with these type of rankings and with this committee. But regardless, Michigan, you win out, you will be in the college football playoff. That is a fact.
Right.
Michigan, you win out, but lose to Ohio State. That's where things get interesting. Because a 1-loss ACC champion, a 1-loss maybe Big 12 champion, a 1-loss
possibly SEC,
Pac-12, maybe
yeah.
2-loss Pac-12 champion, a 1-loss SEC champion. All right, cool. So what we have here is Ohio State likely at 1 in that scenario. If Tennessee wins out, it'll just be Tennessee and no other SEC team in there. And then you got to think who's going to be in there. And now we're talking about an undefeated TCU. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see if they run the table. I doubt it. Their defense is way too sketchy. They're going to lose a game eventually. I'm not taking a team out of the Pac-12. Or at least I don't believe I am. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Bo Nix, go on the road. Good luck, Oregon. You're not running the table the rest of the year. Good luck with that. So now the only true opportunity Michigan has, and this is why I think the initial ranking is so bogus, is I am trying to find a way right now, if I'm the committee, to get Michigan in there as soon as possible. Because I do think they're one of the 4 best teams. And if I'm doing this Final Four for the college football playoff, if Tennessee runs the table, they beat Georgia somehow, some way, on the road this week, they win out, they beat Bama in the SEC title game. Hell, let's forget it. If they do all that, there will only be one SEC team in there. But the likely scenario that will happen is Georgia will win on Saturday. Georgia will run the table. But what happens if Georgia loses to Bama? So now you have 2 one-loss SEC teams, 2 one-loss Big Ten teams, 2 champions between the two. It gets tricky. It gets tricky. So Michigan, frustrated. I'm frustrated for you that you're not in the top 4, but at the end of the day, you control your destiny. You win out, you're in. It's that simple. I mean, this was the reality last year. You lost to Michigan State. We all sat up here. We had the conversation. Chill on the panic button. You run the table. You beat Ohio State at home. You will be in the Big Ten championship game. And if you win that game, you will be in the college football playoff. And what do you know? That's exactly how it worked out. So, yes, I don't want to get too worked up over the first initial release. And, yes, I think Clemson a bit overrated. But Michigan's best case scenario is that Hendon Hooker is the Heisman winner. That him and Tennessee run the SEC. Because now you won't have 2 SEC teams in there. You just have 1. And now I'd be way more comfortable saying I'm willing to backdoor in a Michigan and 1 other champion.
Right.
I could make that case. Or Ohio State. Again, I think Michigan and Ohio State are 2 of the 4 best teams in the country.
Yeah.
I just do.
And you're probably going to have 2, in my opinion at least, you might have 2 Big Ten teams in the college football playoff. That's why this ranking early, I'm not too concerned. I mean, Michigan fans shouldn't be concerned either. You're going to be just fine. I mean, Clemson still, I mean, you talk about their schedule. They have a chance to go undefeated as well. They play at Notre Dame. They have Louisville, Miami, and South Carolina. For Michigan, you just got to go beat Ohio State. If you do that, it makes the whole thing a lot easier. You guarantee yourself a spot in the college football playoff. And I think they're good enough to be there. I'm with you. I think they're one of the 4 best teams. If you want to give them Clemson, that's fine right now. But I think overall, Michigan's a better team than Clemson. So, again, it has nothing to do with these rankings. I know last year they were, floating around 5, 6, 7. And at the end of the year, they were right where they needed to be. And that's in the college football playoff. So they control their own destiny. But this is the position you want to be in, right? I mean, this is... You want to have that chance. All you got to do is go to Ohio State. If you beat them, even if they lose to Ohio State and Tennessee beats Georgia this weekend, that's where things get even more complicated. And this is what I love, and this is why I can't wait for the expansion, because there's too many good teams. Like, that's the issue you keep running into, is you could go about 6, 7 deep, even with TCU, Alabama. But Michigan are in a good spot right now. I mean, despite them not being as successful in the red zone previously as they were against Michigan State, I'm not concerned at all. I think they're a good enough football team, and if they go to Columbus at the end of the year and they beat Ohio State, they'll be just fine.
Some of the rhetoric, too, I think that's what kind of ticked me off a little bit during the show last night, because it was all subjective. It was... Well, we like their non-conference schedule. And then the team ahead of them had a worse non-conference schedule. And then it was, well, they have quality wins, but the team at the top doesn't have any quality.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
This is what drives me nuts about the committee, and this is why I'm so for the college football playoff expansion. Because the reality is, I think there's 6 to 7 quality teams in the country right now. 7, I might be pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
When you expand to 12, there's no doubts. Michigan will get in.
Yeah.
I'm talking for this year. Ohio State will get in. Clemson, Bama, Georgia, even Tennessee, USC, a few other champs around the country. This is the direction I like. For me, this is good for college football. I don't like hearing, oh, well, you know, it's really the non-conference schedule when Alabama plays Utah State and Louisiana Monroe. You kidding me? Again, Georgia playing what? That Jackson State, whatever the hell, not Jackson State, well, whoever the hell it was.
Right.
What are we doing here? In a game where it's 40-0 after the first quarter? Look. You guys want to bash anybody's non-conference schedule? Excuse me. In today's college football, you are not rewarded at the end of the year for having a difficult non-conference schedule. You are not rewarded for it at all. You're rewarded for winning your conference, and that is it. Win the games in your conference, you get in. You don't, you risk the chance of being out.
I love this comment. WoodwardSports.com. Paul Johnson-ish says, good point, Adam. The committee insults everyone's intelligence. They said they value common opponents, give OSU a big credit for beating Penn State, but U of M beats the pants off Penn State.
Yeah, again, I think the only difference there is going to be, one, Ohio State. I think everybody can agree right now where it's the first or the second best team in the country, okay? Number two, they did open up against Notre Dame. Okay, Michigan this year, like they should, had a cakewalk schedule to start the year. Okay, and they've turned it on since. They've won all their games. They've done their jobs. They've won by double digits. Michigan have done their job. You want to punish them and have them out of the top 5? Again, I don't care. That's fine. I'm not going to get worked up about it this morning because I know Michigan control their own destiny. And the conversation you're having in Ann Arbor is, can you go to Columbus and win? And I find that very difficult to do. You haven't done it in a very long time.
But it's not out of the realm of possibility.
But it's not impossible given what travels, especially in the cold and on the road.
That run game.
The run game.
And those big fellas
line,
up front.
The defensive front. I love you, Jeff.
Those big fellas up front.
Spot on. Spot on. Look.
And Penn State kind of, I mean, talk about winning that battle in the trenches. Penn State put up a fight against Ohio State, too. So, and that's a team that Michigan dominated up front. So that's going to be a good matchup to watch.
Think about it this way. Michigan's last win in Columbus was in 2000. The last time Michigan went to Columbus and won was in the year 2000. I was 6 years old. Actually, yeah, I was. I lied. I was 6 years old the last time Michigan went on the road and beat Ohio State. And I'm sorry. I'm going to ask the question from now, and it's a bit rhetorical, so excuse me. But why not this year? Why not? If there was ever a year for Michigan to buck the trend, why not this year with this team, with the qualities they have? You know me, I'm a big fan of Ohio State. Big fan. Love their team. Marvin Harrison Jr., who knew he'd be better than Smith and Jimba?
Yeah, they don't even have him this year. No problem.
And when he gets back, again, I think Ohio State's going to be a handful for Michigan. They're really going to have to step up their game. And you're not going to get a game like last year where they're really off sync and Aiden Hutchinson gets a record 15 pressures on C.J. Stroud. I don't think that's going to happen again. But why not this year? Why not? Having said that, I still think Ohio State would win. Don't get me wrong. But Michigan have an opportunity. And I think it's a good one. It's not an any given Saturday type of opinion. This is just, they are a damn good football team. Their run game travels. And I'm sorry, I was told J.J. McCarthy was turnover prone. Didn't throw an interception against Penn State. Didn't throw an interception against Michigan State. Am I missing something? Wait, so you're telling me in those two games he didn't throw any interceptions when last year Kate McNamara did? Oh, okay. Turnover prone, yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
I wanted to look this up real quick. Jackson Smith-Njigba, by the way, his father told the Dispatch, I believe on Tuesday, this is that the best case scenario for Jackson to return is to play against Michigan on November 26th. Otherwise, his return would likely be for a college football playoff semifinal if the Buckeyes qualify. This is Dispatch.com. So, again, he's eyeing the return against Michigan, so he'll be back. But Marvin Harrison Jr., my God, he's a beast.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
If he's anywhere close to as good as his daddy, oh my God, watch out, NFL. When we get back, we'll go around the league. The trade deadline news: Bradley Chubb to Miami, Chase Claypool to Chicago for a second-round pick. Guys, if there is anybody that is laughing on their way to the bank this morning, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Detroit Lions. They each got a second-round pick for a player that is not worth a second-round pick. Well done to both franchises. We'll get to the NFL in just a bit, but before we go, excuse me, Jeff, I got to tell everybody at home about where I'll be after the show this morning. That's at Planet Fitness. getting my mental and physical health in shape. Sign up today for $0 down, $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating environment. So get today. Sign up in-store or at planetfitness.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at Alta, because at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
And we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show. 8:32. The NFL trade deadline wrapped up yesterday. When we got off air, that's when all hell broke loose. Eric Ebron traded to the Minnesota Vikings in a stunning trade. Really took Detroit by storm.
Did you say Eric Ebron?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always going to name him as Eric Ebron.
You're just something else, man. No, it's fine. I'll let you have your victory lap.
It's not a victory lap.
He's not. Hear me out. Hey, he's not totally wrong.
It is just a factual. It is not even that. It's a fact that through 40 games, their stats were relatively the same, outside of.
But do you think
TJ?
Do you think TJ's a better player?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Of course.
All right. As long as we got that,
he is
that situated.
much more talented than Eric Ebron was.
Right. Then we're good.
But he had a similar catch rate.
You're right. The stats don't lie.
He dropped only 9 fewer balls, but has played in 9 fewer games than Eric Ebron did through those 4 seasons. So he still has time to catch up there.
Yeah.
So the Eric Ebron conversation, it's there in front of you. You don't like it.
Or the Brandon Pettigrew conversation.
Brandon Pettigrew was an interesting one. That was funny.
Shout out to Flannel Sam for that one.
Well, look, let's go around the league. Let's start with Miami. Okay, Miami, we had to take out a few weeks ago. We did our power rankings. They lost 3 in a row. In come the 4-3 team. They go to Ford Field and they win. Now they're 5-3, and they make the move of moves, right? Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorite moves any contending team can make midseason, and that is go get a pass rusher. You saw Von Miller last year. The Rams do not win a Super Bowl last year if they don't make the moves they made at the deadline. And it worked for them. And now the Miami Dolphins are cashing in on a rookie quarterback contract. They've now swapped 3 first-round picks for Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Bradley Chubb. Not bad if you ask me. Not bad if you ask me. Miami not only have opened their Super Bowl window, they have extended it for at least 3 years. At least 3 years. The 4th and 5th year get tricky, but at least 3 years, the Miami Dolphins will have the flexibility and the ability to contend for a Super Bowl. That doesn't mean they'll win it. And I don't think the Super Bowl should be the end-all, be-all. But I think it would be a massive disappointment if the Miami Dolphins don't find a way in the next 3 years to even win their division. Yes, Josh Allen is there, but win their division. Get to an AFC title game. Dare I say get to a Super Bowl. That is the expectation now with Miami. And good for them.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Good for them. Good on them. It's a great trade, and it's so funny to me because the Denver Broncos have thrown in the towel too. A team that going into this year, you thought Super Bowl contenders. They could contend for their own division, in the hardest division in football. You're giving away your best pass rusher for a first-round pick because you gave away all of your first-round picks to Seattle. Funny how that works. Interesting to see how Denver plays out the rest of the year, but that is the benefit of a rookie contract. That is the benefit of not missing on a quarterback in the first round. Tua is not a miss. He's a very good quarterback. He is not elite. He's not at that status yet, but he has the potential to be there.
I think he has the best QBR right now among quarterbacks.
And passer rating.
Yep. He's winning games. Say what you want about him. He's undefeated this year when he's in the starting lineup. He's not hurt. So, love it for the Dolphins, man. I mean, I think they were near bottom of the league in pressure, getting to the quarterback, getting pressure on the quarterback.
Yep.
Bradley Chubb solves that. You go out and get Jeff Wilson. I think they ranked like 28th or 29th in their rushing attack. Solves that. So, love what they're doing for the Dolphins, man. They're making moves.
Yeah, the Dolphins really very aggressive. I like that the Lions were sellers. They were at least... It's so important in life to just be very self-aware. And that's what the Lions were. They knew they have a turd product out there on the field. They know it's not good. They know they can't find ways to win football games whether they kept Hockenson or not. And by trading him, they are admitting likely that, hey, you know what? We're going to do our best the rest of the year to try to win, but it probably isn't going to happen that often, maybe 2 or 3 more wins on the year. And the Lions are going to be picking in the top 3. That's the reality.
Hopefully 1. Lose them all.
So again, this is my favorite thing to do. You want to talk about... If you want to talk with me about, pressure or, where a team needs to go, think about where the Lions are heading right now. And I know you don't want to have this conversation. I know you don't. I know it sucks. I know it sucks that 7 games in, this regime has already thrown in the towel. I get it. I swear I do. But hear me out, okay? I'm not here to draw a silver lining. I'm just here to tell you the reality. The reality is you now have more flexibility this offseason in terms of the cap space. You have the ability to cut an additional 3-4 players that could save you upwards of $40 million.
Vitae and Brockers. Those are 2.
You have the ability now to draft your franchise quarterback, and if you decide to sit him the first year, you have that option. You also have the option of investing in that quarterback and giving him, in his rookie year, a top 5 offensive line. A young wide receiving core. How good it will be, we're not sure yet. You haven't seen Jameson Williams out on the field, so it's very difficult to project him. But in an ideal world, he's very good, yes? You take him at 12, you would at least, he's giving you Chris Olave production this year, right? So you have Jameson Williams, you'll have an Amon-Ra St. Brown. Okay.
One of the best O-lines in the league.
You'll likely have either Wright, Mitchell, or maybe they draft a tight end in the 3rd or 4th round this year. Who knows what they do? A rookie is walking into a good situation with a young, offensive-minded coordinator. Very, very important here. So it is still a good situation for a rookie to walk into. I don't think Detroit is like what a Cleveland was to Baker all those years ago, where he walked in and it was chaos. It was a mess. It was, who am I throwing the football to? Right? Because that's a lot about why quarterbacks succeed and don't. What's your situation? I think whoever this quarterback is, they are walking into a very good situation. And now Brad Holmes has equipped himself with 6 picks in the first 3 rounds this year. Very important. And for a GM that's already brought 5 starters, and I could argue 6, even upwards of 7, to this football team from the draft, you are looking at potentially 2 Pro Bowl players from this upcoming draft, based on his track record, at least in Detroit. Not bad if you ask me. The team will be better, and I can keep giving you all the positives right now, but the reality also is you have a turd of a head coach. And you don't want to admit it. Sheila doesn't want to admit it. You don't like that I'm telling you this, clearly. And the truth is, by the end of next year, after you've wasted a whole nother season, and you've lost again, then it'll be, oh, you know, I swear to God, like 2 years ago, Adham called this guy a turd, but hey, here we go. I'm only 2 years older, and I have 2 less years to live on this earth. Great. I'll keep being patient. Can't wait for that conversation at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I think this...
Be patient, Detroit.
Be patient. But you want to talk about a team that overspent? Chicago. I've been nothing but... I've been very nice to Chicago after my very aggressive start to the year. Fair?
Yeah, because it backfired, bomb.
It did. They
Massively.
totally have done a much better job than I expected. Matt Eberflus has done a good job coaching this team. Having said that, stupid trade, stupid decision, and if I'm Pittsburgh, I am laughing that I got a second-round pick for arguably the third best receiver on my team.
It was reported the Green Bay Packers offered a second, too. They just went with Chicago because it'd be a higher pick. So
Smart on them.
Yeah, it was.
Smart on Pittsburgh, and you know what? Smart on the Green Bay Packers for not overpaying for an average wide receiver. I don't care.
What if he balls out against the Lions, which he probably will do?
Everybody, Fish,
That doesn't
everyone.
mean anything to me.
Everyone's going to ball out against the Lions.
Balls out against a better team.
And I think you have to pay Chase Claypool in about a year, I believe, a year or two. So it didn't really make sense. At the same time, I get what Chicago's doing. I've been sitting up here clamoring, at least surround Justin Fields with more weapons. They did that, but you think they'd want to extend Roquan while Justin's on a rookie quarterback contract. But they're like in a rebuild, but they're not. They have a ton of money this offseason to spend. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in Chicago. No doubt about it.
Look, I just believe Green Bay did the right thing. They didn't overpay. Aaron Rodgers, at the end of the day, took $50 million. They traded Devontae Adams for 2 firsts. And you know what? They played the game Aaron wanted. He wanted Randall Cobb. He wanted his buddies. And that's what you get. That's what you get. Sorry, buddy. That's your reality. Minnesota will run away with the division this year. They'll likely win 12, 13 games. Okay, that's the NFC North, which we'll get to in a few minutes, by the way. But I want to wrap up. We talked about Chase Claypool going away. Overall, we've had almost 20 trades that were impactful trades in the NFL. Christian McCaffrey, Bradley Chubb, and I would say TJ Hockenson would be in that conversation. Which move do you think benefits the team that received such player the most?
You said TJ Hockenson or who?
TJ Hockenson, Christian McCaffrey, Bradley Chubb.
I'm going to go Bradley. I'm going to go the Miami Dolphins. I think having a player like Bradley Chubb of his stature is going to impact them. I think you could probably make the argument Christian McCaffrey, but in my opinion, San Francisco, they're going to be able to run the ball no matter who's there. I just think he brings another level to that offense. I'm probably going to stick with Bradley Chubb, though. I think for a team that's struggled getting to the quarterback,
I value edge rushers more.
What they have offensively, it's got to be Bradley Chubb to me.
I agree with you. I value edge rushers way more than I do. Look, CMC's a different kind of running back, but I think you know where I'm going.
Yeah, he had a passing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Guys are ridiculous. But we all agreed TJ would be third out of those 3.
Roquan Smith is another one. Thank you to Steve in the chat. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Roquan Smith. That's a big one for Baltimore. And by the way, to everybody that's in my fantasy league, not Woodward Sports, in my fantasy league, I outbid everybody on the Baltimore Ravens defense by $1. And I outbid everybody on the Deion Jackson pickup by $1. So to all of you this morning, 2 of these, and I'll be winning the remainder of my games this year. Thank you so much. Having said that, 7-1 in the Woodward Sports League, by the way. You're 6-2 now, right?
Yep, 6-2. I have Christian McCaffrey. He had like 45 points for me last week.
Still lost? No, you won.
No, I won.
You won. Yeah.
Mark Cooper and Nick Chubb played well. So
awesome. I play Sean this week, by the way.
He doesn't start. He forgets to start players. I think that's a free one.
You should probably tell Sean to get rid of those 2 players that are on a bye week right now. But anyways, when we get back, we'll go around the state of the NFC North, the Green Bay Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, the Bears. Where are these teams? What's their trajectory? What's their optimal building status? Does Green Bay need to tear it down? Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, yada, yada, yada. Are they contenders or are they somewhere stuck in the middle? We'll get to all this in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Big Frog.
Guys, let me tell you about our friends at Big Frog, because you can get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog and Novi. Just stop in, tell them we sent you, and they will print one out for you on the spot. So go to bigfrog.com/Novi and tell them your friend sent you. You'll get a free t-shirt.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the three biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been, I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. Baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
All right, if you want to win front row tickets to watch Detroit versus Green Bay, we're going to tell you how right now. Do your best Dan Campbell impersonation, man, and we'll give away 3 pairs of tickets, man, and their front row tickets, man. So if you want to submit a video, there are multiple ways you can win. You can submit your best voice impersonation, or you can just suck at your job, and that would be more than enough to possibly win these tickets. So make sure you submit your video on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Use hashtag Woodward Front Row. And we will select 3 winners to win a pair of tickets. This Friday.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Wow, man.
Can't wait.
There are people that speak like that, though. Every other word is like a man or whatever. There's people that talk like that.
Are they typically head coaches? Fish?
No, they're not.
Oh, there you go, buddy.
All right.
There you go, buddy.
At least I don't think so, but maybe some head coach does that, where they say different words, like fam.
Yeah, you better buckle up. Dan's going to be here probably another year or 2.
At least.
I would say 2 years. I think he makes it through next
25?
season, too. Yeah, I think he's 10-40-1 by the end of next year.
Yikes.
And then they extend him.
That's not a good...
Extend him with 3 years left.
That's not a good record.
Oh,
yeah,
my
that's
gosh.
the Lions' way. That's the Lions'
That
way.
is the
Let's
Lions'
go around
way.
the NFC North. Let's start with the Packers.
Let's do it.
4-game losing streak right now.
Yeah, 1-4 over the last
and they're
5.
coming to Detroit.
They're coming to Detroit.
It's a get-right game.
I don't want to say they're contenders, but they should at least be a wild card team. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's where I think Green Bay is. The defense has underperformed. They're way better than what they've been all year. I think Green Bay is just mentally checked out a bit. I think the loss to Minnesota to start the year kind of shocked them a little bit. They proceeded to win 3 straight, but not in the fashion you'd think, and then losing to Washington.
That was bad.
That was
Taylor
the nail
Heineke.
in the coffin for confidence. So this is a can't-lose game. You have Detroit that just traded one of their better offensive weapons. This is it. This is your moment, Green Bay, this week to get right, as Neil Rule would say. Get right. Get the ship back on track. Here we go. Yeah, right the ship, and let's move forward. I do think it's a complete teardown at the end of the year, though. Regardless of what happens, you have to move off of Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what it takes. You're done. Be done with it. Move on. He has this year and next year on his contract. I hope he retires. But if I'm Green Bay, I'm looking to tear down for a year and be back by 2024. That's my objective. That's my goal if I'm Green Bay. Next year, punt. We're going to rebuild. We're going to keep some pieces. We're going to trade away some guys we don't want to pay, and we're going to rebuild. We're going to go find, hopefully, a franchise quarterback. We're going to draft some more weapons. Maybe we'll deal Aaron Jones. Maybe we'll deal Savage, the safety. Who knows? Deal a few players, get some capital, and let's move forward. I think they need to move off of Aaron Rodgers at the end of the year, Jeff.
No, I'm with you. I think the Packers right now, they're in a tough spot. Obviously, most of their weapons, too, have not been available. If you look at Lazard, was not there last game. Watkins hasn't been healthy. It's really just been Dobbs, Tunyon, and even Cobb hasn't been healthy fully. So the Packers are in a tough spot. We thought their defense would be even better than what they're playing. They're underperforming. They're 3-5 now. They'll be 4-5 after they face the Lions. I mean, I got them winning this weekend, but still 1-3 on the road. That's kind of where that Devonta Adams, he comes into play, because you need a guy like that, especially on the road. They're relying on receivers that are subpar, and they're in a tough spot, Adam. So I'm with you. I think they'll make a wild card spot, but it's going to be a tough road to get there. So I think it's really, in my opinion, a one-team race. And I'll admit I was wrong. I picked the Packers to win the division. It's a one-team race, in my opinion, in the NFC North to at least get, have a chance to get a bye, and that's Minnesota.
I'm with you. I think let's segue then to the team that's winning the division this year, likely. The team that's in full control, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. They make the move for TJ Hockenson. They make that move. Irv Smith out, I believe, 8 to 10 weeks, so he's essentially done for the season.
Right.
It was a good upgrade. They had to give up a second-round pick, sure. I don't think they... Again, it's... what shoes am I looking... put yourself in another person's shoes is the saying, Jeff. If I put myself in Minnesota's perspective, we are a 6-1 football team, and we need a tight end, and we have a complete offense if we have one. To hell with a second-round pick. Get me a tight end. Let's go for it this year. Kevin O'Connell's legit. Kirk Cousins playing some of his better football. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, a better offensive line.
Defense.
A good defense.
Yeah, good defense, too.
So, and again, it's funny. I got to take my wins when I get them. I told you before the season that they would be much better on defense, and you laughed. They have an offensive-minded coach. Kevin O'Connell's a rookie head coach. They didn't sign anybody. They're better. What do you know? Coaching matters. Oh, my God, what a shocker. Oh, wait, the head coach communicates clearly what he wants from his defensive coordinator, and he makes sure he sees it through. Oh, wow, talk about leadership. Talk about accountability. Don't know what that is around here.
Yeah, and they do got some...
So from their shoes,
got some playmakers
from their
on
perspective,
that defense.
From the Minnesota perspective, it's a good deal, even if they don't re-sign him.
Right.
Because they're trying to give themselves a 2-year window to win the division, win some playoff games, maybe get back to an NFC title game, dare I say get to a Super Bowl. That is Minnesota's intention. A second-round pick is well worth it.
And I think on top of that, too, they see how weak the NFC is. And I think that was probably even more of a deciding factor. You go get a guy like TJ Hockenson. I mean, it's really inches right now in the NFC to try and separate yourself. You have the Eagles, but really after that, it's wide open, in my opinion. So this is a chance for the Vikings to kind of separate themselves. Their only loss this year is to that undefeated Philadelphia Eagles team. So as long as Kirk Cousins can stay out of prime time, they'll be just fine. They're 6-1. It's their division to lose. They're obviously going to make the postseason, and we'll see what they can do from there. But they got a hell of a team. Very complete team.
I would agree.
They can kill you in a lot of ways.
I would agree. Let's get to the Chicago Bears. Okay, A very interesting trade, an aggressive trade for a team that doesn't throw the ball often, who have identified Justin Fields' greatest strength currently in this offense is running the football. They go out and trade a second-round pick for Chase Claypool. I don't like it. I hate it.
I like it.
Really?
Yeah, because I think this is what they have not done with Justin Fields, and that's adding playmakers. I love Mooney. I think Mooney's a good receiver, but he's not your number one. Let's be honest with you. I don't think Claypool is a number one, but at least it gives you more options. This is your window, at least for the Bears and for polls, to know what you have in your quarterback. So I don't mind getting. Now, you could have a problem for what they paid for Claypool. I'm with you there.
I think that's
but going
more
out and,
so where I'm at.
Getting a receiver, I don't hate.
I still think they overpaid
for
Claypool.
I'm 100% with you.
I don't think not having a
with
second
you.
wide receiver stopping them from throwing the ball more effectively. I just, again,
they need offensive linemen.
They need to play a certain way.
Yeah,
they got to roll Justin Fields out and get him more active. I do think Claypool helps them. I do think it opens up their offense more. I think if you're a Darnell Mooney fantasy owner, which I don't think there are many, you're at least feeling a lot better about it. Don't worry, Alex. I cut him after the second week, so you don't have to worry about that. So I got rid of him a long time ago. But regardless. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Alex, I'm going to send you a screenshot, actually. Do you mind? We'll do this coming out the break. Let me see what I can do here. Let's see if I can get this to work. Alex, I'm going to send you a screenshot. And what we're going to do is when we get back, I want you to throw it up on the screen.
Uh-oh.
And I want to share with you guys how easy it is to turn things around. Just in general. In life, the NFL, doesn't matter what. Okay? So, let's take a quick... Actually, no, we have a few minutes. Let's finish up with the Lions. I don't want to forget about the Lions. And then coming up, we'll talk about why everybody in this town needs to be patient. Okay?
Patience.
The Lions. Move Hockenson. Acquire draft capital. Now what, Jeff?
Lose every single game. And we'll get into it.
Really? That's it? That's your that's your philosophy?
No,
right
that's honestly, I'm going full Neil rule, my guy Neil. At this point in the season, it does not matter. The only thing I'm concerned about is if the Lions win those games down the stretch and you lose your draft position, because right now I don't think anything matters. I don't care about winning against Green Bay this week. In my opinion, this is selfish, by the way. I'm admitting this is a selfish opinion. Lose everything. Lose every game. Go 1-16. Get the number one overall pick. Get your quarterback. And hopefully the Rams suck as well, and you have a very good second first-round pick. So if this is what we've turned to, this is what we've turned to. I'm over the, getting to 5-6 wins. Screw all of that. All right, I want the number one overall pick at this point. I think it'll be beneficial. I want it in Brad Holmes' hands. I don't care about winning late games. It does not matter at this point. Season's over. Season's over. So... lose everything.
It's sad, but that's the reality. That's what's ahead of them. They're 1-6. They're in pole position for the first overall pick. And in a year where you expect, in my opinion, 3 to 4 quarterbacks to go in the first round, it is nice to have the first pick where you get to pick any of the players that you believe in the most. So that is the Lions' reality, unfortunately. But when we get back, I'm going to show you a few things on how easy it is to turn life around sometimes. And then we'll get into why you need to be patient. And why being patient is all part of the plan here in Detroit with the Detroit Lions, okay? So we'll get to that in just a bit. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Well, the SMA Sports Marketing Agency, they help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, will help fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, tell them or even yourself to head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram. Using hashtag Woodward Front Row, we'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man.
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got 1 toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck, because, guys, if you want to be like Jared Goff, and I don't know if that's a compliment or not, you head over to Foaling Warehouse, because you can play two different ways. You can either pay $12 for the unlimited open play, or you can pay $120 for the lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 Mr. Beer Machine, full bar. Check it all out. FoalingWarehouse.com.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Top of the hour. Thank you to everybody joining us over at WoodwardSports.com, to everybody in the Woodward Sports chat. This is going to be a fun one. Top of the hour. All right, we got to talk about the plan, the process. Why you need to be patient with the Detroit Lions.
No.
Shut up, Fish. But before we do that, Alex, are we good? Okay. I want to show you guys how simple it is to turn things around in life, okay? Now, as a guy who likes to think he's decent at playing fantasy football, okay? I drafted Cam Akers and Javonte Williams in the 2nd and 3rd round this year. Now, if you guys aren't aware, Cam Akers is no longer in the NFL, and Javonte Williams tore his ACL. And typically, teams don't win if their 2nd and 3rd round picks are busts, okay?
That is correct.
Having said that, look how easy it is to turn things around when you put your head down and get your act together. On the left side of the screen, you'll see my original team: Lamar Jackson, Jalen Waddle, Christian McCaffrey, Darnell Mooney, Javonte Williams, Dawson Knox. You see the bench, D-Hop sitting there, DK Metcalf. And I somehow, someway turned Lamar Jackson, Jalen Waddle, Christian McCaffrey, Cam Akers, and DK Metcalf into the lineup you see on the far right, which is Kyler, St. Brown, Murray, and Kamara. That's how you turn it around. And now I feel like I have one of the better teams in the entire league. So yeah, this is how you turn it around. Even if it's an effed situation, even if your 2nd and 3rd round picks are busts, you look at who's around you, who's good, who can I pivot, who can I trade, and there you go. That's it. See how easy it is, Jeff?
Yeah.
You go from having the worst team in literally the whole league on the left to now the best team on the right.
If only the Lions could make maneuvers like your fantasy team and just fleece a bunch of people.
I know it's a lot easier to do it in fantasy football, but I'm just saying.
You're like a lot of Lions fans who hop on Madden, play franchise mode, and
I'm just teasing.
Flip the lines around and be like, "See?"
No, but let's get into it.
I can do it.
I'm just teasing. Let's get into it.
Team looks good though.
Sheila Fordham came out last week, said, "Be patient." Right? It was a complete teardown. This is more difficult than what people expected. There was a lot going on. Yes, we're frustrated, but we believe in the people that are doing their job. Da 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 da. Be patient. Let me ask all of you this. We'll start in the Woodward Sports chat. Let's throw up a poll. Are the Lions better than their 1-6 record? So let's go around the room. Fish, do you believe the Lions are better than their 1-6 record?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. They're 2 or 3 wins.
Okay. Jeff?
I'm with Fish. I'll say probably 2 wins better.
2 wins better?
Yeah.
So a 3-4 football team
yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I would agree there.
Just so you guys all know, based on your comments, if they were a 3-4 or dare I say 4-3 football team, are they trading TJ Hockenson at the deadline?
I think so.
Whoa.
I think because they weren't talking with them before the season, so I think that was always in their plan.
Well, they're not interested in paying $15 million for a guy who's not going to be part of a winning team yet.
And,
right?
and you saw the effect he had when he wasn't there. Lions played close. When he was there, they played close.
Well, what if you swapped situations? What if they were the 5-3 Seattle Seahawks right now? What if the Lions were 5-3 or 6-2?
That would be great.
Would we be talking about being patient? would we be calling Dan Campbell a turd?
Nope.
No, we would not.
Oh.
We'd be celebrating
would you be
on Woodward
trading
behind
TJ
you.
Hockenson? Oh. The reality is, nobody in this town has to be patient, and I don't want to hear it. And they've already thrown in the flag where next year they're expecting to lose another 10 games. That's where this team's at. And it is, in my opinion, an indictment on how they've gone about this rebuild. This whole rebuild. The idea that it takes 3-4 years to really turn it around and rebuild your team. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Alrighty then.
Be patient.
I know how you feel.
65 years, one playoff win. Be patient. I wasn't even born the last time you won your division. Be patient. I wasn't even born the last time you won a playoff game. Be patient.
Yeah, be patient, Adam.
I've been alive for 2 double-digit win seasons. That's it.
That's it? Ooh, it's not good.
That's it. Be patient. Why? Be patient with who? Just so I'm on the same page with all of you.
Just like
you want me
Tuck's
to be
coming, the
patient
Lions will come.
with the coach who's 4-19-1, who likely after next year will be 10-40-1, and will likely have the same record as Rod Marinelli through 3 years? You want me to be patient then? How patient should I be? Oh, Adam, just wait till 2025. Okay, I'll close my eyes. I'll shut up.
It's a young squad.
It's a young squad. It was a teardown. The Giants are a teardown. The Seahawks were a teardown. They got rid of their franchise quarterback. They got rid of their heart and soul of their defense, Bobby Wagner.
Right.
Jamal Adams gets hurt the first game of the year.
Right.
The Giants are a complete shit show. Horrible salary cap situation, the worst in the NFL. Kenny Galladay's contract. The amount of receivers they drafted and signed and wasted picks on. A line made of rookies and second, third year guys. No tight end. An injury-prone running back. 1 or 2 nice pieces on defense. The rest, young, up-and-coming players. Somehow they're 6-2. That's a teardown. You think Robert Saleh didn't show up for a teardown? Why is he winning 5 games this year? Why are they 5-3? And they're doing it with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, who can't even throw football right now without turning it over. Daniel Jones. Be patient. Fuck you.
You know what's the difference? It's got to be, and I know I hate this answer, by the way. I know you do too, but it's the organization. Like, at least you can sell a rebuild if you've had previous success, like the Jets, winning a playoff game, even when Braylon was there, getting to the playoffs. Then you have the Giants, won a Super Bowl not too long ago, won 2 Super Bowls, and then you have teams like Seattle that's had success. The Lions have never had success, so it's easier to sell patience to those fan bases rather than a fan base that's been patient, that's witnessed a lot of inept, a lot of disgust, a lot of disappointment. It's just different. So for Lions fans, patience is in our vocabulary, but it ain't a proud thing. It's not something to be proud of, and it's honestly frustrating, but that's the reality. You're not like those organizations. It starts from the top to the bottom. It's more than just Dan Campbell. I mean, it's disgusting. It really is.
And then you have the nerve. You have the lack of awareness to come out just like your brother, just like your mother, just like your father, and say, be patient.
It's a repetitive process.
You are tired of losing. You're tired of losing?
My
I would love
family
to be
hates
paid
losing.
billions of dollars to lose. Must be nice.
No one hates losing like my family.
Sounds like a pretty good deal.
Be patient, Detroit. Be patient in a league where it is common that teams every year go from 4th to 1st in their divisions. In a league where it's common every 2 years you're able to go from the worst team in the NFL to one of the 5, 6, 7, 8 best teams.
It's incompetence.
In a league where you don't even need a franchise quarterback to win, you can win divisions with Ryan Tannehill, with Jimmy Garoppolo, with Kirk Cousins, even with Dak Prescott. Be patient. Screw you and telling me or anybody else to be patient. You tell me, why Why should I be patient? I always forget this doesn't have wheels, by the way. Tell me why I need to be patient.
I told you earlier to grab the one with wheels.
Shut the hell up.
You didn't listen to me.
Why should I be patient with a coach who is 4-19-1?
With an organization.
Why should I be patient with a coach who is 0-11-1 on the road?
Oof.
Why should I be patient with a coach who is 2-10-1 in one possession games? Who, if he had won half of his one possession games, he would be 9 or 10 and 14 overall as a head coach. Not bad if you ask me. Through 2 years, I'd say job well done. Interesting. Why is it that I have to be patient with a Nimrod who continues to call random timeouts, goes for it on every possible fourth down when he feels like it? It's always a feeling.
And it's a Jared Goff roll to the right, throw out of bounds. One of my favorites.
Why do I have to be patient? Why do I have to shut my mouth and not be critical of a failed rebuild so far? Because it's failing. And it's failing because your head football coach can't coach. And he has no business being an NFL head coach. And I wouldn't even trust him to coach my youth football team.
But Adam, he makes the players feel good. He cares about them, man. He really cares about them.
I don't care how bad it was, how toxic it was in the locker room under Patricia. It was probably so god-awful. That doesn't mean you go on the opposite extreme end of the spectrum and try to fix it. That's not how it works. You think Kevin O'Connell came into a nice situation where the culture was good?
Back.
They were a disappointing culture, a culture that underachieved,
they were
a
mid.
Culture that would just lose in all the big moments. And you know what they're doing now? They're winning. And they're beating Arizona at home. And they're beating Green Bay. What do you know? And their only loss is to the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Tell me more about being patient. The Chicago Bears, you can laugh at the Chicago Bears, they're 3-5. The Bears are 3-5. And they were buyers at the deadline. Buyers.
Right.
The Saints are 3-5. The Falcons are 4-4. The Seahawks are 5-3. The Giants are 6-2.
Right.
I have to be patient in Detroit. I have to watch the Lions continue to suck year after year and then be told I'm the bad guy. I get it. I get it. So disappointing. So disappointing. If there was ever a chance, if there was ever anything I could do, if I could give you any advice, Detroit, it would be go hire a good coach. And I'm not talking Sean Payton. I'm talking anybody, whether it's an up-and-comer or a proven coach. Because you bring those guys in the door that are successful, innovative, quality coaches. You aren't 1-6 this year.
Here's the difficult part of that is you're not going to bring, at least in my opinion, you're not going to bring a qualified head coach to this organization because it's been proven that coaches that are hired here don't get opportunities afterwards.
I don't believe in that.
So you got to find somebody like a Kevin O'Connell, like somebody that's a former coordinator. But do you trust the Fords to hire that guy? Do you? Because you had Arthur Smith in your building. You let him go. And you got Dan Campbell. Like, that's the issue. You got to invest in a coach, but do you trust the Fords? Hopefully Brad Holmes gets to decide the next head coach.
I don't want to talk about the Fords. You know what I want to talk about?
Do you trust them?
It's not about trust. This isn't about... It has nothing...
Because you can say all you want. You got to bring in, this type of quality coach, but is it going to happen?
Look, okay, can I ask you something? And be honest with me. Can I do anything about Sheila Ford or the Ford family or anything like that? Can I do anything about that?
No, you can't.
Do I have $7 billion sitting in my bank account right now where I can go buy the team?
Unfortunately, you do not.
Okay, so what are we doing here? What I can do is hold the people that in place accountable. And that's it. That's it. That's all I can do. Mm-hmm. So, Fish, do me a favor and close that door. And when we get back, Brandon Dent, also known as KoolAid, will be joining us to talk some Detroit Pistons. 9:30, we'll get to the Michigan State saga as it continues. 4 more players were suspended. A lot more coming up in a bit, but before we go, I got to tell you where I'll be getting my haircut later on, probably next week, given how fast my hair grows, and that's at Lady Jane's Haircut for men. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. Their awesome stylists will take care of you like they take care of me. So again, get to a local Lady Jane's near you. And remember, it's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
All right, Michael Phillips, the best and most experienced in the game. So whether you're looking to buy or sell your home, Michael Phillips is your top priority. He'll help you take care of your needs, get you the best deal, the best option for you and your family, and being in the game for over 23 years makes Michael the number one option for anybody. If you have real estate needs, call Michael Phillips at 313-403-0011. That's 313-403-0011. Look, to everybody over at woodwardsports.com and the Woodward Sports chat, telling me, I wonder how Adham would be talking about the Lions if they were winning. Yeah, I would love to do that. Would love to have them be, maybe a 5-2 football team. Dare I say 4-3? Dare I say overachieving? God forbid. Guys, let me refresh you on something, okay? When you get an F on your exam, your mother or father, depending on who's home at the time, maybe both, will beat your ass with a ruler and tell you you're stupid, okay?
Pretty much
You
how it
get
went.
criticized when you fail. And when you bring home the A's, what do mom and dad do? Good job, Jimmy.
Celebration.
I'll take you to get your favorite ice cream.
Oh.
How about we go get you a pack of trading cards? And you get praised. You get rewarded for winning. But when you're a 1-6 product and you're 4-19-1 over 2 seasons,
Can I have cookie dough, please?
kick rocks and lick my nuts if you think I'm going to sit up here and compliment a 1-6 football team who hasn't even won a road game under this head coach.
And they probably won't win a road game this year.
Lick my nuts.
Don't do that.
I will not be doing that.
I would-
Having said that, we are joined by KoolAid. Brandon, good morning, buddy. How are
What a transition.
I'm over here like cracking up, man, off camera, yo. You know what, Adam? I'm sorry that the Lions do this to you, brother. I'm
look,
sorry.
What are you gonna do?
Oh,
What are you
man.
gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Oh man, oh man. Hey, look, the Pistons, man, a little bit of an uptick here. Not the result we wanted versus the Bucks, but a little bit better defense. Cade Cunningham has looked like him.
I want to ask you, because the last 2 games, we were in the building, you were there Sunday, and then Tuesday, they played Monday, it was a back-to-back. They went to Milwaukee, they played the undefeated Bucks. What is something you saw in those 2 games defensively that you didn't see the previous? Because I was listening to Dwayne Casey talk to after the game. He thought it was the best game they've had defensively communicating, especially against the Warriors. And I think that carried over into Milwaukee. And for a team that hasn't won on the road, how they played in Milwaukee. They had a chance to win down the stretch. Holiday hits a big three. What's your takeaways defensively the last 2 games compared to what we've seen the first couple games?
Yeah, they look scrappier. Like the effort just appears to be there. They don't look like they're second guessing or thinking about where to be. And it looks like the scheme has been to place them in a position to have a better effect with their athleticism and their skill rather than kind of scheming a defense, more or less going to a little bit more man-to-man.
Right.
And letting these guys get loose as it relates to getting in the passing lane and trying to turn that into offense as well. Another thing that they've done is they've made a concerted effort to actually rebound the ball. They're rebounding in the beginning of the season. They were getting punked on the boards. The last several games, you see guys actually making an effort on the glass. And these are the things that I believe have attributed. You see Jaden Ivey as well defensively starting to settle in. And I believe that with Cade Cunningham, as you see his usage go up, you continue to see both his defense and his playmaking and his rebounding all improve as well. And these are things that go towards the improvement on the defensive side.
And Cade this year, I mean, the thing I loved, and me and you talked about this before the show too on the Woodward Pistons pod, which you could check out. It'll be on 1 o'clock, Woodward Pistons on YouTube. We talked a lot about Cade and the difference you've seen in his game and how he approaches it compared, the first couple games to last couple games. Yeah. For example, and this is a stat I mentioned, the first, 3 or 4 games, I can't remember off the top of my head, I have to look, but Cade's 3-point attempts were up. It was almost like he was settling. And then you saw the last 3 games, he's been much more aggressive. He's inserted himself a lot earlier, not waiting for his teammates to get going, like, hey, this is my team, I'm going to go get mine, and then I'm going to get you guys involved. And that's what this team needs. What have you seen out of Cade this year? Because we look at last year, and it's people want to have this discussion. I'm not talking about Pistons fans, but nationally about who's the best player out of last year's draft class. And these things will pan out, right? And you see it now in their second year, Cade looks the most impressive.
Yeah.
What have you seen out of Cade this year, and what has impressed you the most? Because right now it seems like, Brandon, he's putting up all-star numbers. They aren't winning. That's the only difference.
Listen, Jeff, this is what we talked about all summer, is that we believe that the media at large was missing something here as it relates to Cade Cunningham. We had whole shows where we talked about, is he an all-star caliber player in his second season? Can he make that jump? Can he make that leap? His post-all-star numbers were, the 22, 6, and 6 just about last year. And we said, can he start the season off with that? And people said, hey, he started off the season slow. He was averaging 5-5 at that time, 19, 5-5. All of his numbers were up. But then there came this point in the season where he decided to take a step forward, not in and of himself, but because his teammates said, you know what, Cade, you're that guy. We got the opportunity to ask him that in the press conference after after one of the games where he took that explosive leap forward, the first game against the Hawks. And he said, you know what, my team, my guys, they came to me and they stated, Cade, you're the man. And that usage hasn't meant more selfish. That usage at the time, I remember before that game I wrote, he needs to be in attack mode. He needs to probably be a little bit more selfish. Not that he's a selfish player, but at that time his usage rate was 2% higher than last year, sitting at about 28-29%. Since that game, his usage is now up to 30.5%. Now up 3% over last year. And during that time with Cade, as you see him attacking that mid-range more, those elbows more, what you see with him is an overall improvement in his numbers. I thought his shooting looks to be a little bit down, but overall, from 3, it's not. It's just I think he needs, as he continues to take better attempts and as the feel of the game and his aggressiveness and that starts to settle in, you're going to see those numbers go up. But overall, looking at his advanced stats here, his true shooting is up to 53%. Last year it was at 50%. And there's his free throw rate is up to 21.1%, up from 16% last year. We wanted to see that number at 30%. That's where I want to see Cade Cunningham get. The referees, I know you did the soliloquy, watched the Woodward Pistons podcast at 1. Jeff, he went in on the refs. I don't want to ever really blame him, but look, they got to get this man something. He got that 15 extra pounds of bulk, and this is the last thing I'll say about his improvement.
Yeah.
He's actually using that. At first, it looked like he was probing, trying to figure out how to get these guys involved. Now he realized, I'm the straw that stirs the drink. If I get going, that's how this team gets going. Those 15 pounds we thought was going to help him be able to draw more fouls, and what it's helped him do is be able to finish despite the foul calls, and that's what I love. I don't even see him. I see him look at the refs like that was a foul, but I don't even see him allowing that to affect his confidence. He comes back the next time, and he's either finishing at the rim or hitting those elbow jumpers, and I love it. that mid-range. That's what he's kind of added over those last 2 or 3 games that made him so good and very difficult to stop last year.
And that's what I love, too, because we were able to talk to Ashton at the game, and Ashton talked about it. I'm trying to get Cade to work inside and then work out. Speaking of working outside, shooting that three-point shot, Jaden Ivey this year, man. And this is a conversation. We loved Jaden Ivey before the draft, and personally, I'll even admit, and I'll say when I'm wrong, I thought he'd struggle early on. I thought it'd be the opposite. You struggle early on, and then he gets his feet under him, starts playing well towards the end of the season. He's playing well right away. He's shooting the ball better than I thought. But to our credit, we did talk about the things he would bring that people don't really see in college, which I thought defensively he's going to bring that. You see his versatility. He's leading the Pistons, I believe, in steals right now. And then also his rebounding, his being able to pass the ball, play make for others. His game is much more expanded or much more advanced, in my opinion, than a guy like Benedict Mathurin, who's playing well as well. But I want to ask you, since you cover the team, you're around those guys. How special is Jaden Ivey? And what does he bring to this team that others, like a Keegan Murray or Benedict Mathurin, aren't able to do? Because we could agree he could do much more. But what have you seen from Jaden Ivey you like so far, and how have you liked the fit with him and Cade Cunningham so far this year?
I've loved that the one thing that you stated this summer, and you told us that he was going to have a similar type of impact. You didn't think he would start as fast, but you said, what is he asked to do? We all believed, and when you started to kind of put that out there, Rod and I on the show started to say, you know what is he good? What has he been asked to do? And we realized it hasn't been to play make. It hasn't been to take advantage of speed. It hasn't been able, take advantage of spacing or any of that. They didn't even cater to that in college. Now in the NBA, we talked about it all summer that he was going to be able to get into this NBA spacing and just absolutely take off. And that's what he's done. The one part, though, that I didn't anticipate was his shooting. He's on the season now shooting 34.5, almost 35% from 3 on 4.1 attempts. I did not foresee that at all. That shows to the level of work ethic that he has, how much he takes this stuff serious. He said he models his game after Michael Jordan. I didn't even know that kids of this generation still do that. I didn't know that. But this is his purpose. This is what he's setting out, and you kind of see that in his game. But his ability to just run past the defender. I know against the Atlanta Hawks, that first game, he had that crazy wild layup, that scoop. He started on the left side, scooped it on the right side.
Beautiful.
Yeah, his ability to just a little headsy to the left and run past the defender, that type of stuff makes him really, really good. And as he continues to learn how to play with composure, I think we're going to see a guy that looks more and more, I'm going to keep saying it, like a Dwayne Wade type of a player.
Hey, you can't teach speed, I'll tell you that.
Nope.
You can't teach speed.
Amazing.
Yes.
Him being Jaden Ivey.
Yeah.
Having said that, it's a young team. Cade Cunningham, I do believe, will be the first superstar to grace this town for the Pistons since Isaiah Thomas. You want to say Grant Hill, I get it, but I'm going for long-term projection accomplishments
with wins.
And, Grant Hill was that guy. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But
I agree with you on that premise.
Am I crazy to say in 2 years we will be talking about Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey the way Boston talk about Brown and Tatum?
I
different players, but the duo.
I chuckled because this duo right now, not even 10 games in, is already averaging 23 and 15 as relates to points. We don't have to wait much longer. We really don't. I believe that this duo in 2 years, which is what the window looks like, is starting to set up for their going from learning how to compete to contending phase. We see Marvin Bagley, 2-year deal, Bojan, two-year deal. By that time, I believe we're going to see a duo that's going to be difficult to reckon with. They say that Cade is slow. They say, these are the knocks that we heard on him, but people still can't stay in front of him. They still can't stop him from getting to his spots. Jaden Ivey is tremendously faster than Cade Cunningham, and he's skilled. He's not just a fast guy with no composure, with no skill. He's finishing at the rim. He's getting to the free throw line, and he's able to set that up by hitting threes. People sag off of him because they're afraid of that speed. He's able to hit the three. I believe this year we're going to see those flashes that don't make this hypothetical, but just say, when are we going to see them talked about like the duo in Boston? I do want to give that time, obviously, to see it through, but I can't. When you look at what they're doing right now, we know people didn't believe this was going to be it. We heard people call us homers all summer. We're realistically looking at this game as, just purest as possible. And I believe that these guys, I thought Cade Cunningham was going to have an all-star type season, and that Jaden Ivey was going to be a type of a player that could put up, about 15, 5, and 5. And that's what we're seeing from these guys right now.
And people forget, too, before we go to break, that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, it took about a year for those guys to really – I mean, Jason Tatum, his rookie year, averaged like 14 points. Yep. Jaylen Brown didn't really – it took those guys 2 years, 3 years to really hit their stride. It seems like Jaden Ivey's coming out rolling. So it's really impressive. I know Simo, my guy Simo in the chat on WoodwardSports.com, he said Stack and Hill. Stack and Hill. I like that. I mean, obviously a better team around him, but if you want to talk individual players –
you haven't had a superstar since Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
A superstar, bona fide,
right.
Year in, year out. He's going to carry you to the playoffs. That's what Cade Cunningham will be for this
with team success.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. I'm
without
with
a doubt.
What do you call him? This is my question. What do you call him right now? Is he a star right now?
I think he's a rising star. I don't think he's a star yet. You got to earn your stripes a little bit. You got to play 70, 80 games, putting up 24, 6, and 7.
I like
just
that.
10, if I'm fair. So,
but rising star.
Rising star. I think he's a borderline all-star this year. If not, he is an all-star. And, again, that's how you become a star player in this league. You put the numbers up. It reflects in the win column, which it technically won't this year for Detroit, but he's a rising one. He's somebody on the radar who probably by all-star break next year, everyone will be looking around the league and saying, damn, they got a star in Detroit.
I think it'll be around the All-Star break this year. You'll be saying, this guy's a star.
I'd be surprised.
I wouldn't. Because LaMelo Ball last year, people would call him a star, right? I mean, he's a star, but Cade's putting up better numbers.
He's a social media star.
I know that the Hornets had the wins at the time. They were 6 in the East.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but I think Cade this year will be recognized as a star.
That's what I believe that the goal should be. So whether or not he gets there, I do believe that personally that's something he should be pushing for, not to be recognized as a all-star, because that can be kind of arbitrary with votes and things of that nature. But as it relates to the stats, the impact on the game, taking the necessary steps forward to reach this pinnacle, to be that guy.
Right.
That's something I think he should be attacking already from day one, and that's what we're seeing here in the early part of the season, learning kind of how to put this together, learning how to play with Jaden Ivey and all that. I love the lineup changes that they are experimenting with right now. I believe that it would be a mistake to separate Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham in large parts of minutes. I like via James Edwards. I know he had a conversation with Sadiq Bey about Sadiq Bey getting more time at the bench, separating him from the starters. And the reason why I like that more is because of the type of player he is. And we talked about this on the Woodward Pistons podcast. He needs those types of opportunities. He's not just a three-point shooter. When you try to 3-and-D, Bey, he becomes, to me, a less efficient shooter. But Casey spoke to the fact that when his usage rate goes up, his effectiveness goes up, and we've seen that. He's also, when he's with those starters, found a way to just kind of pick his spots, and so you'll see his scoring go up and go down. But with Cade and with Ivey, along with Beydoun, you need those types of players around him. So if you're not going to have two dead-eye shooters, two knockdown shooters, you at least need a guy like Jaden Ivey who, well, at least this year he's shooting 34%, but he's not a negative on that other wing with Cade Cunningham. As he's getting in and absorbing all that gravity around him, creating space for his teammates, you need guys in space like Jaden Ivey for him. You need guys like Beydoun who is instant oatmeal offense, bro. Just add water and stir. Like, that's what it's been for him.
You know what's sad?
I like that with that combo.
You know what makes me sad a little bit?
What's that?
Is, I'm the young one, sure. But Grant Hill came into the league. He was supposed to be the guy. And by year 5, it all fell apart. Because he got hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
He followed up with somewhat of a full season, arguably his best season, where he almost put up, I think, 26. And then his ankle just totally derailed his career.
Right.
That's not a superstar. That isn't to me. A superstar is a guy that gives me 10, 12 years at the highest level. Did Grant Hill have superstar potential? Yeah, he did.
Would you say
he was a he was a superstar? If you want to, in definition, he was that guy.
Yeah.
You didn't get it for more than 3 years.
But I get what you're saying. But is Ja Morant a superstar? I would say he is.
I mean, he is right now.
But he's only had 2-3 years. Like,
yeah, but if Ja Morant gets injured.
Well, of course, then
Derrick
it derails
Rose was a superstar.
Yeah.
He got injured. But you don't remember Derrick
So,
Rose.
would
the
you say
same-
Grant Hill before ankle injury was a superstar?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, then we agree there.
Absolutely.
We agree there. We agree there.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
but
'cause that is
again,
a
I
good-
think you get where I'm going with this. Is
bringing up the Derrick Rose incident. It that does call it. That does bring it more into a argument from me.
it's context of their career.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Giannis would not be a superstar had he not taken the evolution the last 3 years. One of which was winning a chip. Right.
Yeah.
John Morant can't just coast around and be flashy and never do anything else other than be flashy. That's not going to work in the NBA. It's not how you're. Barkley was a superstar. I know he doesn't have the title, but he was a superstar.
Yeah.
So was Malone, even Stockton to an extent, right? So you have these players. It's not just about winning a chip, but Derrick Rose. We don't remember Derrick Rose how I think we all would have liked to.
Right.
The MVP, the explosiveness, unbelievable carrying Chicago. No, that was just a
It's
few
almost like
years,
how
and it
they-
was a nice few years. And it was a nice few years with Grant Hill, and he showed that he could be the guy after Jordan. And he, unfortunately, injuries derailed his career. What do you want me to do? I
Yeah.
can't control that.
So we're on the same page. Those guys were superstars, but once you're
Oh, yeah,
injured
don't
and it
get me
derails
wrong.
your career, it's
But
hard
the
to
Pistons,
be a superstar.
what does that mean
Right.
for the Pistons if they only got 2 years of really him playing at an elite level?
And I know what your
granted,
point
his
he's
first
getting
3
at.
years they were nice, and then the following 3 years you really got, damn, Grant Hill's that guy.
Well, yeah.
Oh, but he's also injured.
All I'm saying, Grant Hill made what his four straight All-Star teams his first 4 years. Like if Cade can do that, my God.
He's
he obviously he didn't do it his rookie year, but Grant Hill was that dude. They just, the injuries. They didn't build a team around him. There's a lot of things that went into it.
Yeah,
but
he was
a
to me-
superstar.
Yeah, to me he was
Definitely.
he was definitely a superstar. But to Adam's point, it's as we look at what Cade Cunningham is going to be, he has the opportunity to be Detroit's first, celebrate a superstar because of his career and not because of some of the things that came into it. Grant Hill was an absolute stud of a player, but because of that ankle injury,
Right.
And the lack of longevity, he's not the guy that we actually celebrate around here. We celebrate guys of lesser talent and lesser skill from the 04 Pistons and from the Bad Boy Pistons
Well, you
just
know what? The
because
chat's
of the
bringing it up.
longevity in
Ben
their
Wallace,
winning.
Chauncey Billups, superstars? Because I'm going to say no. Sorry.
No, I don't think they're superstars.
I think
maybe
Ben Wallace,
maybe Ben
Wallace.
Ben
because
was the
of
closest
yeah,
because of his defensive
Yes,
prowess.
yes.
But that's about it. But he
Yeah.
was not an overall, all-around superstar.
I would say if you have 4 stars, they were all
He was
stars.
a star player.
Yeah,
Ben
right.
Wallace was
Ben
a
was
star.
the closest.
Chauncey was, I don't want to say a star, but I mean, he was that
good.
guy.
I would say he's
though.
a star. Finals MVP, especially.
He was a star with Detroit. Fair.
Right.
Yeah, Rip
Rip was a star too.
They're all stars. Yeah,
They're all
Ben-
all-stars too. I
Yeah.
mean, they're all all-stars.
Yeah,
for a
all
reason.
all-stars.
But
Yeah.
I don't use I use the word superstar very vaguely, or excuse me, very I don't throw it around.
It has some value.
It has
extreme
meaning to
value.
me
Yeah.
because Luka, John Morant, they can be superstars, and you can classify them as that now because they're young. But LeBron's a superstar, Kobe's a superstar, Dwayne Wade's a superstar. Why? Longevity. Giannis, superstar, winning year after year after year, accolades, success, individual, team success. Dirk's a superstar, right? Some of the recent guys that got into the Hall of Fame, those guys are superstars.
Right.
Yeah.
That matters to me. I like D Rose. God, growing up, I mean, it was everybody in my school was wearing a D Rose jersey. Didn't
He was
matter.
one of those guys here.
He
was
was
those
that
guys that come to
dude.
town. The people
Yeah.
had his
Injuries
jersey.
let him down.
No doubt.
And so was Grant Hill, though.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace, I don't think I can draft Ben Wallace #1 overall, and he leads my team to the promised land. I think what Larry Brown and the Pistons did in that 3-4 year run was special. It hasn't happened again for a reason, and I think they were all the right fit for each other, and they all got the best out of each other. And Ben Wallace, yes, should be a top 75 player in my opinion over some of these guys that made that list. Having said that,
So
a superstar, again, we're not going to consider the fact that offensively he was very limited.
He definitely
He
was.
was one of the greatest defensive players we've ever seen.
Yeah, and
offensively he was nothing.
did his job.
I'm just saying, a superstar, I mean, that matters. Shaq was a superstar.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan was a superstar.
Basically, what you're saying
Kevin
is
Garnett was a superstar.
Can I ask
Ben
you?
Wallace made his money though and his name in their era.
Can I
I
throw,
understand, but he was the best defensive player of that era.
He was.
Can I throw a wrench in this whole conversation?
Go.
Was Oklahoma City Westbrook a superstar?
No. Jackass. What a jackass you are.
I want to throw a wrench in it.
I love it.
I think that's what, again, when we talk about people's careers, that's how we remember them.
Yep.
I love Luka right now, John Morant, right? Wow, explosive, right? Amazing.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham, God forbid, only lasts 8 years in the league. Injury really gets the hold of him. God forbid.
Knock on wood.
Right? You're going to be like, damn, that was a waste. That was a waste. Right? You're going to look at Grant Hill and say that was a waste. He gave you some years, but it was only his last year before injuries really caught up to him, where he gave you 26, 7, and 7, basically. The rest of it was 21, 8, and 5, 21, 8, and 6, 21, 6, and 6. Let's, like, pump the brakes a little bit.
What do you think about Cade? Do you believe
I believe he can be a superstar.
He's going to be that guy?
Maybe he's 23, 6, and 7 right now. He's nice with it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in year 2, and you know what Cade said at Media Day preseason as well? He stated, you know what? Now I know what to work on. He said, I came into the second season having a much better conception of actually what to practice. He said coming into his rookie season, he didn't know, and that's why I believe we saw him take a half a season to really show the stats that we saw post All-Star break. But coming into this year, as he's kind of looked like a guy at the Rec, like those first 4 games looked like a guy at the Rec who knew what he was trying to get his guys involved. This looks like, you know what, this isn't winning. This isn't going to get it done. Now all of a sudden he's kind of taking this step forward, and you see him putting his team on his back. I believe he has more to show. I do. I believe that this 23, 6, and 7 that we see out of him right now, I don't believe that's the end of it. When we talked on the Woodward Pistons podcast, Jeff, and we asked, preseason, will any big man average a double-double? I'm glad to see Stu up there right now, 13 and 11. We also asked, will any Piston average 8 assists? Cade Cunningham is going to threaten that. He's really going to threaten that this year. I really do. His playmaking has been amazing this
I could see him in the future, like, forbid, man. He could get double-digit assists. I really
everybody
do.
in the chat telling me that, back in the 90s, they didn't score a lot. And, the leading scorers weren't a lot. 21 points a game is a lot. Just so you know. From 1990 to 1996, let's just use those 6 years. 2,700 points, 2,500, 24, 2,500, 24, 23, 25, 24, 24. That was the total amount of points scored by the league's leading scorer. Let's go to the last 5 years in the NBA. 2,200, 2,800, 2,300, 2015, and then 2,155 by Trae Young in 21-22. Excuse you? It looks like they were scoring more in the 90s outside of James Harden's stupid year a few years ago. So save me the excuses.
Wait, you said you took the leading scorer?
Yeah.
But wasn't that Jordan for a lot of those years?
Oh, it was.
He's guy's putting up 40 a game. You son of a gun.
It was KD a lot though. I think KD had a run of like 4 or 5 years though.
All right, I was gonna say Jordan was probably stacking those stats, man.
Look, let's take a break. KoolAid, appreciate you hopping on. Great conversation. Thank you so much.
You're the man.
Before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Let me tell you about it. Friends at Cintron, the official energy drink of the Red Wings. Cintron has combined all 3 of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. Try Cintron's great tasting cranberry classic or sugar-free all-in-one pack. You can pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram. Using hashtag Woodward Front Row, we'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man.
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got 1 toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Get your customized approach to weight loss. Think of all the ways that weight affects your health mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Custom Health Centers will help you lose weight, improve your health, and most importantly, do it safely. So start losing weight today. And call Dr. Jason at Custom Health Centers at 844-789-THIN. That's 844-789-THIN. And we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Everybody joining us over at woodwardsports.com. We got about a few minutes before mailbag, so we'll just get into it. Michigan State suspend an additional 4 players. And my question to all of you is, when is enough enough? Okay? I think we all agree what happened in the tunnel was unacceptable. I think we all agree that what the individuals did was unacceptable and they need to be held accountable. Cool. Glad we all agree on that. Michigan State have, in my opinion, and I'm really not looking at this from a football team who I support or what team I care more for perspective, just in general, they've handled it with class.
Yeah.
They've submitted footage. They've cooperated.
They acted quickly.
They've suspended players immediately. More footage came out. They suspended those following players immediately. They've released joint statements. They've released that this is not what our program believes in. It's not what we're built on. We don't tolerate this, yada, yada, yada. I mean, they basically done all the PR stuff that you would want, and they've done it quickly. So, what else is there? Criminal activity. We're going to use the word criminal. Oof. We're going to prosecute 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Oof. Do as you want. I'm not involved. I'm not going to defend anybody. I'm not going to say what's right and wrong. All I know is at 19 years old, I wasn't making the best decisions either.
But you didn't.
And no, I didn't swing a helmet at somebody's head. No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did not.
And yes, there are consequences to doing that. But again, I think there are very quick, I think effective things you can do to punish these players and move on and implement protocols, and hopefully this never happens again. I think it's being made for more than what it is. Now, to the player that was assaulted and who it appears to have had a concussion, that's not okay. That is life potentially altering, career changing. Mm-hmm. That is not acceptable. And you have to own up to your mistakes. And mistakes, whether you like them or not, you got to take responsibility for them. But I want to separate the individuals versus the team right now. Because the team and the program and the university are coming out and doing what they're supposed to do. So I don't understand the dialogue we're having on social media. Maybe everybody's just angry. And they're all upset, and they're all in their feelings, and it's kind of a lot of vitriol back and forth. That's fine, whatever. I don't care. I don't. Again, it's a damn shame that those kids had to experience what happened. It's a damn shame those kids at Michigan State made the decisions they made, which they should be held accountable for.
Do you think they should come out and apologize?
Oh, I mean, a formal apology is something overdue for the individual players, but I'm sure, again, I don't think they can because they're in the middle of a lawsuit, potentially. Who knows? Right. So whenever there's any legal involved, it's very difficult to come out and give a public statement because it might hurt your case.
Incriminate yourself.
Yeah, so I don't expect them to come out. I think eventually they will and apologize and they'll show remorse. But at the end of the day, what they did was unacceptable, and I hope we can all move on from it and get back to what rivalries are all about, which is shit-talking, having a good time, drinking, eating food, watching the game, getting bragging rights, and moving on till the next year. Yeah. It's that simple.
I appreciate how Mel Tucker's at least handled this. I mean, they've acted very quickly, and it's just it's a disgusting situation. I mean, that's for these players to all be suspended. I'm glad more and more are being suspended because you're holding guys accountable. Mel Tucker's come out with an apology. We've seen that. The athletic director for both schools have both come out and talked publicly. Jim Harbaugh spoke at the press conference, I believe it was 2 days ago. You'd like to see an apology from the players, but again, I'm just glad this is just moving. We're moving along from this. It's a terrible situation, and this just can't happen again. I mean, honestly, the fact that we're talking more about this than the game itself is a travesty to me. It should be about the rivalry, not about the events
Andre
after
says they need
the
to do
rivalry.
something about the tunnel. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't.
It's like that in all
It hasn't been an
stadiums.
issue. It's never been an issue. There were undisciplined young adults who made very poor choices.
Terrible choices.
And that's it. That's it. End of discussion.
And they'll be held accountable.
When we get back, everybody in the Woodward Sports chat, get your questions in the chat and we will answer them promptly. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Big Boy.
Let me tell you about our friends at Big Boy because, guys, you can get for a limited time only, by the way, all new burgers and fries at Big Boy. It's not just the Slim Jim. It's also the Big Jim. They have the chili cheeseburger as well as the bacon blue. But how about upgrading those fries? They have chili cheese fries, which are my personal favorite, baked potato fries, nacho fries. Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Jeff Iafrate here. I'm here to tell you about our friends at Chili Peppers Tanning because it's where you'll find all the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters. 27 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan.
All right. Mailbag time. Everybody over at WoodwardSports.com. Get your questions in the chat. Let's start with this. Why do football players get special treatment? They need to be held accountable. They don't get special treatment. They are being held accountable. 8 of them have been indefinitely suspended.
Okay.
They will not be available.
But can I defend it slightly? If that was just normal human beings, they would have got criminal charges. I think we can agree on that. If they were normal human beings, swinging a helmet, punching them,
Well, you don't know that yet, buddy, because everything is still playing out.
You kind of do.
No, you don't.
You have an idea.
I believe I would imagine, and I don't want to be. Again, I don't want to speculate on something that is an active, ongoing legal situation. Somebody, especially the individual that swung his helmet, I think is that's a tricky one. And again, I'm not going to get more into it than that. They don't get special treatment. 8 of them have been suspended indefinitely. I think you will see whether it's charges. Something will come out of this, Fish. I think it's too early to say that they're getting special treatment and nothing will happen.
Okay.
Fair?
Yeah, it's fair.
I love this one. Andrew Smith, WoodwardSports.com chat says, Adam and Jeff, I know it's too early for a mock draft. By the way, buddy, it's never too early because we're Lions fans. But you have the number 1 pick. Are you taking a quarterback or are you taking Will Anderson? I think we've kind of already covered this too. I think we're both on a quarterback train. Although if you take Will Anderson, I ain't going to be mad. I just think for all these years of having a top 10 pick, you got to take a quarterback eventually. And last year, it wasn't a great quarterback class. This year, it's better. I would lean quarterback, but Will Anderson is the best defensive prospect we've seen in a while. So you can't really go wrong with either. That's why I'm in favor of the Lions just losing out. Have a chance to select anybody you so choose. Don't win games. All right? It's over. We're at the part of the season now where we're looking ahead. We're looking to the off season. So
how disappointing.
How disappointing, right, Fish? All right, what other questions do we got?
Let's see.
He said Draymond. Someone said Happy Camper says Draymond Green lays out his own teammate. These guys are hitting their opponent. Some improvement. Oh my God.
Look again.
It doesn't help that Draymond also went to Michigan State.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to pretend to be one. You saw what you saw in footage. Lawyers and the legal system can figure out what they're going to do with it. It's that simple. Michigan State have done their job. They've suspended the players, and they've made the formal apology statements that they needed to make. Oh, man. Let's see. Adam, you are bitching about the Lions telling you to be patient, but you are loving the Hawk deal even though the trade shows this fan base needs to be patient. How does that make sense? Jesse, I'm praising the deal because there is no way in hell you could have convinced me you would get a 2nd and a 3rd round pick for TJ Hockenson.
And you've already acknowledged he's not in the team's future, or at least you wouldn't want him to be. So it's not like
and you don't want to pay him $15 million regardless. And I do think your team, again, is underachieving this year, mainly because of your head coach, who has now thrown Aubrey Pleasant under the bus, and he got his job taken away from him, which I find hilarious, but that's fine. Again, it's a production-based business, like Dan Campbell said, and I think his job is safe. 4-19-1, 0-11-1 on the road, and 2-10-1 in one-possession games.
Pretty good record. Can't beat that.
Oh yeah, it's a great record. Production-based business.
What if Hockenson balls out in Minnesota and
he probably
wins them
Fish,
a Super Bowl?
But well, hold on. What? If they win a Super Bowl, it's not going to be because of strictly just Hockenson.
Again, Jesse, let me finish answering Jesse's question. Okay.
Gets a few touchdowns.
No matter what happens,
runs.
Jesse. Okay. You got a 2nd and a 3rd round pick for TJ Hockenson. That is more than he is worth. That is a good trade. It's good value. And yes, you are 1-6. Not because of me, not because of yourself, because Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions at the moment suck and can't figure out how to win football games. That's it. It's a win-loss business. And clearly, TJ Hockenson getting 4 or 5 targets a game isn't really doing anything for this football team. And even when he has his best game against Seattle, they still find a way to lose. So I'm not interested in, again, a tight end. I'd rather have the draft capital. You're 1-6. Dan Campbell's not turning it around, even if you brought in Bradley Chubb and, hell, I don't know, Roquan Smith. It still wouldn't turn around because the head coach at the end of the day isn't the guy for the job.
Wasim asked, shout out to Wasim. Jeff, do you worry the Pistons will be like the Timberwolves of a few years ago, build with solid players from the draft but never amount to much? I think the difference, well, number one, it's historically with both franchises, the Pistons have a blueprint to success, and that's something that these young guys can lean on. I think that young core with Zach LaVine, Karl Anthony Towns, they were kind of just lost, I think, partially. A lot of it was, and Andrew Wiggins. They didn't have a good organization behind them. They didn't have a direction. And trading those guys away, in my opinion, way too early. At least they have the blueprint here in Detroit. And I think Troy Weaver drafting these players, they also have the right mindset. Because that's something Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins, they never had. Like, Wiggins is complimentary on the Warriors. But Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, to put it, and very bluntly, he don't got that dog in him. So, yeah, I wouldn't compare him to the Minnesota. They never had any alphas. Chuck said it the best. I like this question as well. Honest comment. Jeff, do you think Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud are generational type talents? I wouldn't go that far. Generational to me is like a...
Andrew Luck.
I was just going to say that. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's generational. I think these two can be good quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud, It's tough because with Bryce, I have a year where he elevates his teammates. Like for Alabama, they didn't have the wide receivers, they didn't have the running backs they had in the past, and he still elevated those guys. C.J. Stroud, it seems like, down goes Jackson Smith-Njigba. They lose Olave last year, boom, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. Like they have all these track stars. A little hard for me to evaluate C.J. Stroud, but they both can be pretty good quarterbacks.
The one thing C.J. Stroud does have as a prospect, he's big.
That's it.
He's got a cannon.
Size.
He's accurate. Size, mobility. So he's going to check the boxes. He'll be a top 3 pick in the NFL draft no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be it for us today. Thank you to everybody joining us today on the Morning Woodward Show. Make sure you check out woodwardsports.com for all the latest news about your respective teams. A lot of good news and articles coming out there daily. Check it out. We will see you tomorrow. Thursday Night Football. The Wings, the anniversary tomorrow for the 97-98 Wings will be celebrated at LCA. Should be a great night tomorrow. Thursday Night Football, lots to talk about. Friday, you know how the deal is. You all have a good rest of your day. Check out Big D Energy at 11, Ermanni and Edwards at 2, and, of course, the heavyweights at 5. See you guys tomorrow.
Go watch Champions League football. How do you not? Big day, drama.